Hello. I am sitting outside on my much in need of a power wash deck, enjoying a beautiful morning, having a cup of tea. It is quite cool still in the mornings. It will probably be quite hot in the evening. I don't know if the audio is going to work really nicely with this. I don't want to shout because I don't need all my neighbors hearing me talk about books, but I just finished a book and I really wanted to talk to you about it. I wanted to talk to you about it outside while I still have time off to enjoy being outside during daylight. And that book is A Good Life by Virginie and Grimaldi. And this had me so caught up in my feels. So we have to talk about it. Hello, book friends. It's Alyssa. Welcome back to the channel. Hello if you are new, welcome back if you are not. That's not my intro, but we're moving on. I've been up for a very long time, but I really want to enjoy this beautiful day. So we're going to enjoy it, and we're going to talk a little bit about this beautiful book that Europa Editions sent me for review. And I am so grateful that they did. This is the first Europa Editions I've ever received, and I felt so honored to get it. And this did not disappoint. A Good Life just came out in May, and it follows two sisters, Emma and Agatha. I'm going to call her Agatha just because I'm going to anglicize it because I'm not going to be able to say it. I also put the dust jacket on upside down today, so that's going to be confusing. Better. So this follows two sisters, and they're about 5 years apart, and they're about the same age. The youngest sister is about my age. She's about 2 years younger than me. So this was also a very nostalgic read for me, sort of with a lot of cultural references, despite being set in Basque and being translated from French. There's a lot of cultural references that are transatlantic. So I really just enjoyed that. Just right off the top, I just want to say that I really liked how contemporary to my own life these characters are. And they're also the same-ish age difference that my brother and I are, which, since this story deals heavily with siblings, that also added to a lot of my enjoyment of A Good Life. But anyway, so Emma is the eldest daughter, and Agatha, apologies, but I'm not going to butcher French names for the rest of this video. She is born in 1985, and the two sisters, we follow like almost diary entries from each sister's point of view from the moment Agatha is born to the end of the story to the present day. And then that alternates with the today narrative. And that today narrative is the two sisters meeting up after a 5-year estrangement. The oldest sister is in her 40s. They've been estranged because of something that occurred, and they are meeting up because their grandmother has passed. Their grandmother, who meant a lot to them and effectively raised them in a lot of ways and was really their true mother, passed away, and they are going through the house. And through spending this vacation at their grandmother's house on the beach in Basque, they rekindle that love for each other. They bury the hatchet on a lot of things. They explore their past relationships, and there's a lot of hard truths that got looked at. And there's a really sad revelation at the end of this. In my weekly newsletter, I said that I thought this was going to have a lot of happy tears, and it doesn't have happy tears. I was very wrong about that. I thought we were going to have like a joyous kind of happy moment at the end. And though there is a bright spot at the end of this story, there's this very sad reveal at the end that changes Emma and Agatha and Emma's children and her husband and the whole family's lives. And it had me in tears. So just the basics of the story are just really lovely and wonderful. And I think anybody who has siblings and has a really good relationship with their siblings and maybe a less good relationship with their parents would really love this book, because I think there's a lot of universality in this that you would relate to as a reader. There's a lot of the sisters as they're growing up crawling into each other's bed, especially Agatha crawling into her big sister's bed at night when their parents are fighting or when something scares her. Agatha has a ton of anxiety, and that anxiety ends up sort of not developing into, but in the story, it develops into you realizing that she has bipolar disorder. And we explore how that affects her relationship with her sister and her family members and with her partners and with everybody in her life, with working and everything and how difficult it can be to be the person living with mental illness, but also how difficult it can be to be the one who loves somebody with a mental illness. I thought that was beautifully explored. I really appreciated the way that Emma protects her little sister, and I saw a lot of parallels between like my own childhood growing up and the way, and just these wonderful moments I have remembering like crawling into bed with my brother during a thunderstorm and him telling me, some story to make me feel better, or again crawling into bed with my brother while my parents were fighting and asking him really hard questions about our lives and like what might happen with us, and this moment where you just kind of look at your sibling and you're like, you're my person, right? Like no matter what comes, no matter what happens, there's nothing more related to me than you, and you, like, you are me and I am you, and we are family forever. And there was a lot of those kinds of moments in this book, and a lot of those kinds of moments nostalgically were brought back up for me, and I really, really loved that. I did highlight quite a few things. I'm going to try to find a couple quotes if I can find them. I think this is probably one of my favorite quotes. I don't want to give too many because I'm going to be here all day trying to find them, because I didn't flag them because I literally like finished this 30 minutes ago and then sort of set up, made a cup of tea, the raw dress, and made myself look somewhat presentable. Anyway, so there's this quote from Emma later in life in one of her like diary type entries. And it says, "I don't know if having shared the same uterus gave us the power to feel each other's emotions, but one thing's certain, a bond as inexplicable as it is intangible exists between brothers and sisters, the same one that allows us to understand each other with a mere glance, to forgive each other in a second, like a bridge crossed by the senses, a bond that tears us and shreds us when the other one suffers and thrills us when they are happy." And I just thought that was so spot on and beautiful. And like the amount of times throughout this where I would laugh and have like a very wonderful memory, or I would get really kind of like sucker punched and have a very bad memory with like bad things from growing up, but then having that silver lining of having that partner in crime, of having an older sibling or just having a sibling. The amount of times I wanted to text my brother and be like, I love you. But texting him that at like 6 a.m. would probably make him think that I was trying to off myself or something. So I didn't do that. Oh, I also loved this when Emma is talking about understanding Agatha before she had words or a diagnosis or anything to describe Agatha having bipolar disorder. She says, "I sensed a flaw of fragility in Agatha. I walked on the edge of the abyss. She was ruled by her emotions, at the mercy of her moods. That's doubtless why, naturally, I tried to shield her. I feared that the slightest knock would break her. Giving a name to Agatha's disorder allows me to understand her better, but in my eyes, the diagnosis changes nothing. Bipolarity doesn't define her, it's part of her." I love how though the mental illness does put a strain on her relationship with her sister, Emma never judges Agatha. She never holds any of it against her. She understands her, but it does drive a wedge between them because Emma can't constantly be there to shield and protect Agatha. Like eventually she has to grow up and figure that out for herself. And therein lies a lot of the conflict between these sisters, but she's never angry or upset or judgmental. It just becomes this, I can't always save you. I sometimes have to save myself, which I thought was heartbreaking, but also very relatable. But yeah, there's just so many things I've highlighted in here. I thought it was just an absolutely beautiful book. Absolutely beautiful book. And I just encourage everyone to read it. I know Naomi is also reading this right now. And so we will probably be doing a more in-depth breakdown over on TBR Lowdown. But I hope that this gave you enough of a little taster to want to pick this up. It's beautiful. I think it's perfect for summer. It is set in the summer. It is set on the beach. It is sun-drenched and like salt sprayed and just heartwarming and heartbreaking and so relatable, I think, to many of us with siblings. And I just loved it so much. So thank you again to Europa Editions for sending this to me. I truly appreciate it. I am so excited to be on their little list. I mean, they sent me a couple goodies along with it. I got some sunscreen, which will make my friend Jess Owens incredibly happy because I never wear sunscreen. And I also never see sun. And I got a little tote bag, which I think is super cute. And there's a little note as well that just blew off in the wind there. So I loved it please pick it up. It's out now. Again, that's A Good Life by Virginie Grimaldi, and this is translated from the French by Hildegard Serrel, and it's wonderful, perfect for summer. I can't wait to sit down with my book journal and just like pour out all of my feels, all my very personal feels that I'm not going to share on the internet about this, because it was glorious. But that's it. That's what I got. Hopefully all of my neighbors have basically gone to work and I won't be mortified by anybody walking by me while I film my next video, because I have 2 videos to film this morning. So anyway, I'm getting tongue-tied in my like perceived embarrassment. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe. If you pick this up and read it, please let me know. Otherwise, I will see you in my next video, whatever it may be, because it's my channel and I can do whatever I want. Bye.
So just sit with me, talking to the night until the morning, building chemistry. I don't think I ever wanna go, come closer next to me. Trying to find another way to say this, but I think we were meant to be.